What is going on, ladies and gents? I'd like to welcome you all to today's motovlog featuring the Doomy Gloomy UK. It's pretty much been pouring down all day, and then I saw the sun break out. I was like, that's it, this is my chance, I'm going for it. So it's probably going to pour down any minute now, but I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully the rain holds off. And of course featuring the Yamaha MT125 and Evo himself. I'm in one of those full crazy modes today, you know, where you just like, you wake up and you're just buzzing. So I'm currently on my way to Lagunas, which is my local Yamaha dealer. I need to get some parts for the MT125, and then I'm going to make my way up to Halfords. I need to get some servicing stuff, oil filter, brake pads, spark plugs, all that kind of good stuff. Whilst we're at it, get some new bits for, drum roll. So yeah, I'm not kidding guys, I bought another motorbike, but this time it's not a 125 and it's not a 50cc either, for those that are already speculating. As much as I'd love to get back on the RS50, you know, we mentioned it in a few videos ago, you know, should I go sports bike, should I stick to naked, or go for something different? You all probably saw it coming, but I went for it. I got the Yamaha MT-07. Went for the Night Flow colour scheme, and at first I really didn't like it. The fluorescent yellow, I was like, whoa, I don't know if I'm a fan of that. And then it just grew on me, like, actually this is very unique and different, you know, there's no other bikes like it. And standing out and being fluorescent on the road isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, at least other drivers are going to see me. The bike has just grown on me since day one. It's in the workshop at the moment. I've been tinkering and fitting some mods. There'll be videos on that. So I'm mega stoked to start putting out some videos on that. What we'll do is we'll do like some workshop videos. I've got the DSLR which I can use, and audio quality is generally okay. So I don't see why there's no reason I can't bring you guys along with me when we're changing the oil, fitting any aftermarket parts. But yeah, in the meantime, my A2 is booked, module 1 and module 2, so I've just got to wait it out and fingers crossed that I pass first time. I'm going to be selling in the MT125 unfortunately, and as much as that really breaks my heart to say that, I've loved the MT125. I've still got a few video ideas that I want to upload to the channel whilst I've got the opportunity to. So this won't be the last of her, there'll still be rides to come. But the way I see it, you know, we're sticking to the MT, it's not like we're changing bike. To be fair, the 07 is very similar to the 125 version, as you'd expect. Just got a bigger frame, bigger engine, bigger panels, bigger tyres, better brakes. It is literally just an uprated version of what this is. So really, it's not all that different, to be fair. And you know, we're selling the baby MT125 for a good reason. We're getting a big brother. Alright, here we are, Laguna Motorcycles. So back to the out with the old, in with the new. I want to make some videos on the MT125, kind of like a tribute, and a few informative videos, like a review before selling her on to the next owner. And if you guys have got any requests or something you really wanted to see before I stopped riding the 125, don't hesitate to pop something in the comment section or send me a private message if you prefer. But trust me, in terms of the transition, it's going to be for the absolute best. I've already booked my first tour, which is going to be to Wales on the 07. It's going to be about a month after riding the 07, so hopefully plenty of time to kind of adjust and get used to the big bike. And I think we're looking about 1,000 miles sort of round trip, so it should be really good. There's loads of places we're going to visit. I'm going with a friend on a MT-09. We're going to take all the cameras along with us, the GoPro and the DSLR, and hopefully we can actually make it into a cool little series so you guys can come along for the experience as well, see what we get up to. First time I'm going to do anything like this, and I think it's going to make a really cool little vlog as well to put on the channel. We'll be taking the MT-07 to the Mayday run, which is down on the Hastings seafront. The Mayday event's a very nice day. There's usually tons of bikers and a really good turnout. Motorcycle stalls are down there as well, so it's a good opportunity to get yourself some gear and cheap bits. Well, let's go collect ourselves some goodies. I need to get some oil, some coolant, and some other muck off random bits and bobs. Well, what is going on, ladies and gents, and welcome to the workshop where the MT-07 is currently hibernating. So we got back from our little shopping trip and we've got some goodies. As you know, we're going to be doing a oil change. Got some Castrol Power One 10W40, that's actually semi-synthetic. It's well within their recommendations and I've used Castrol in the past, so we are going with this for our oil change. As for the air filter, I've decided to go with K&N over the stock one, only because they were smart. They've actually put a socket on a bolt that you can obviously remove using a socket, which makes future oil changes much easier, as demonstrated in the diagram on the box there, as opposed to using a specified Yamaha wrench. And also, I'm pretty sure these ones are generally reusable, but I'll have to double check because they were on the 125. And last of all, since we're going to the effort, we have got ourselves a magnetic oil sump plug. This is really cool. It's currently sticking to something there. As you can see, just your normal oil sump plug for the draining of the oil, but it's got this magnetic thing on the end. Essentially what it does is draws any shavings or metal from the engine to the sump plug for two reasons. Obviously, main reason being to prevent that engine, the metal being pushed around the engine for starters, because of course it's going to attract it and it's going to keep it all by the sump out of the oil. And furthermore, when you do get round to doing your oil change, when you remove the sump plug, you're going to have a good indication to us kind of what situation the engine's in. If you've got half a piston stuck to this, you know you're going to be having problems, whereas if there's just a few metal shavings, which is generally pretty normal, then you know you're going to be okay. And then last of all, we have the washers. Now the one on the left is the one that they provided, which you can see is pretty much a bog standard just flat metal washer. Really not a fan of it. And then the one to the right is a proper crusher washer by Yamaha, which is the one we're going to be using. The only problem being is it seems to attract, so it's going to be a little bit fiddly to fit that on, but yeah, nonetheless, let's crack on. No means do you need to be a certified mechanic to do your own oil change and filter change. Other than the parts discussed, all you're going to need is some sort of oil drip pan, use an old washing up bowl, or perhaps even a old oil carton, sort of the plastic container that initially comes in. You could reuse that. And also you're going to need some tools, just basic bits like perhaps, for instance, your spanners, sockets, and last of all, on the standard Yamaha oil filter, you're going to need a wrench in order to remove that. But that's what we're going to be removing today. The oil filter itself, which you can see is this cartridge here, and then the sump plug, which is just below it, which will actually release the oil which is in the system. The Yamaha guide, it's spot on, anyone can follow it. I'd really recommend getting yourself one of these printed out. But those who are curious, in order to do the oil change, you're going to need 2.3 litres without the oil filter replacement, or 2.6 including. So I've purchased the 4 litre container, which is going to be more than ample to do this change. But as you can see, it gives a complete step-by-step guide, fully detailed with diagrams, and the parts are even numbered. You seriously can't go wrong with this, guys. So first things first, we're going to need to start the bike up, let that oil warm up and get to a nice temperature. On to the next step. Now that we've let the engine warm up to idle temperature, turn the ignition off, give it a few minutes to cool, and then you can go ahead and remove the engine oil cap. And then we want to proceed to actually moving the oil drain plug itself, which if it's the standard Yamaha one, it'll be a 17mm socket, which obviously ensure before you do so that you've positioned your oil pan in a good position. It's going to come out pretty quick and fly forward pretty far forward, and not to mention it's probably going to be a bit toasty as well, so obviously if needs be, wear some protective gloves and just be careful when you're doing so. There you have it. So successfully actually managed to remove the oil sump plug without losing it in the oil, which is always a bonus, because I've had it in instances where it falls straight into the pit of oil and then you'll be fishing that back out later. So it's just going to be a case now of letting the oil drain out, let it do its thing, give it 5-10 minutes, go make a brew. Make sure of course the bike's on a level surface so you get all the oil out. And then last of all, if you are replacing the oil filter itself, which is this cartridge here, this would now be a good time to remove this. You can get a Yamaha wrench which basically clenches onto this and allows you to twist it off. Oil filter is now also off. Likewise with the drain plug, just let that drip and do its thing and settle for the next 5 minutes. Now you can see pretty much we're in a good position now to go ahead and do everything in reverse. First up, we're going to fit the new filter. I've actually got the K&M filter here, purely for the sake it has the bolt on the end for fitting and removal, which makes life a lot easier. You'll notice that these come pre-oiled, but well, not very well. So feel free just to use a bit of the old oil if you wish. You just want to put a base layer around that O-ring gasket which sits in there. Make sure that's nice and lubed up. It's a straight fit on the thread, and the socket on the end, the bolt is actually a 17mm. I'm actually going to use a ratchet spanner for this, but you could also use a socket like we did on the sump plug on the end. We're now going to go ahead and fit the oil sump plug. In your case, it'd be the standard one. This doesn't need replacing, but you do want to put a new crush washer on the end of this. But in our case, we've got our magnetic sump plug with our new crusher washer fitted and ready to go onto the motorbike.